Good morning and welcome to TCS Consulting. We are talking all things leadership, and this month we are focused on celebrating women in history. We not only want to celebrate the women in history, we also want to celebrate what women are doing today and what they project to do in the future. So taking center stage and owning it with me as my co-host, Lulu Brown is in the house. And contributing writer and CEO in her own right is Dr. Madeline Lewis. And this morning, I have charged us to really focus this season and this year on what's being celebrated every month, and what's all the things that are being made aware of that we're being awakened to. And one of the biggest things that we need to do in our sisterhood is really begin to celebrate one another. And so what I did was I took the lead and said, hey, let's identify some women that we really feel dear to our heart. And I know last year when I did this, I talked about my mom because she is my shero. She's no longer with us. Rest in heaven, mom. And this is actually her birthday month. She was born in this month, right? And so I'm always quick to say I always love my mama. So let me give her the kudos first. But I'm gonna digress and I'm gonna allow Lulu Brown to take the lead and talk to us about the woman that she chose this morning, and share her insight and how she wants to celebrate.
So my Shiro is my mom. My mom is
Mhm.
95 and is as feisty as ever. And I think the best way to describe her is to go back to why she named me Lulu, because I don't think she realized that she was really seeing herself and what she was seeing in me when she gave me that name. When you look at the character, Lulu was a busybody. She was noisy, loud, disruptive, in a positive way, depending on how you look at it. And she was always ready to take the lead and stick up for somebody else, to fight for somebody else, or just take on a project that was for the overall good of the neighborhood, or as they say sometimes, the gang. And so my mother, she's looking and she's got this little girl that is just like always into some of everything. I think I must have been, I don't know, I know I wasn't school age yet. So I had to be between 3 and 4. And I decided to leave out of the yard and walk around the block. And the back then you had neighborhood stores, and the store owner
Mhm.
called and said, did you know that Lulu is down here? And so, realistically, when we look at children today, there's so much more maturity around the studying of children and our brains. So, if I was to be set in birth right now, I would be referred to as an indigo child, a star baby, a crystal baby, depending on who's doing the analysis. Well, all those characteristics are my mom. My mother is, there's not enough adjectives in the English language to describe her. She is tough, yet soft and loving. She can be over the top. She can be very aggressive in a good way. She is extremely intentional. No one's ever been able to tell her something that she can't do, because her intention is that, oh, I will show you, I will prove to you that I can do this. And when she accepted Christ in her life, which was at 49, and everything, all of that was the unveiling of the genius and the divine gifting that God had put in her. And everything just sort of really did transform. And my mother really should be in the history books, because when she got into ministry, she did the things that we need to do, but a lot of people aren't doing. My mom taught other ministers how to go into, and at that time, it wasn't crack houses, because crack wasn't on the scene quite when she came into ministry, but they used to call them shooting galleries.
Okay.
And She taught people how to go in and get drug addicts and bring them into a place where you could feed them, talk to them. And there are so many people's lives that have been changed. So many. And I think the greatest tribute to her is, I'll share super quick, someone that came to an appreciation event that we were having for her. And he is now a minister. And when he stood up and told his story, so my mom used to work at Goodwill Industries, and she was a teacher. Most people know that they teach people trades and things like that. My mom is a retired chef, retired cook. So that's what she was teaching. And he would come into her class and he would sit in the back and he would go to sleep. One day after class was over, my mother said, "Stay right there. Hold on, don't leave yet." And she took him in the corner and she said, "Let me tell you something." She said, "You were ordered to be here to get this trade." She said, "But you want to know what? You're not going to keep coming in here and sleeping in my class." She said, "And the reason you're sleeping is because," and she didn't say marijuana. She said, "Because you've been smoking those reefers," because she didn't put the plural on those reefers. She said, "Because you've been smoking those reefers." She said, "But you're not going to keep doing that and coming in my class and sleeping." And to this day, he is a pastor, he is married, he has a family. So he told that story about the impact and the way she approached him, stern in that motherly way, but there was so much love that even though it was stern, you're not going to, but it was in such a way that he was like, okay, I have got to listen to this woman. So that's my mom. And she hasn't changed from that individual. She's just 95. But she's still her. And so I don't think I could live enough lifetimes to really come to the person that she is. Because my mother is a Deborah, an Esther, an Abigail.
Come on.
Let me tell you, all mixed up in one. So that's who I'm celebrating. I know we celebrate those that have moved on and paved the way, but I have a 95-year-old mother that is still here. So that's my tribute and my celebration to her for this month.
Amen, amen, amen. And that goes my heart too. It's like mom, and just to be able to appreciate, all of her, the good, the bad, the ugly, and indifferent, because no one is perfect. So that was a beautiful tribute. And when you talk about leaving the yard and going out and the neighbors calling, that was me. Noreen, do you know where your child is?
I knew we were related. I keep telling you, okay. I know we're related.
Everything she's saying is exactly me. I'm doing flips down the road, and oh my God, I probably drove my mama in crazy. Dr. Lewis, you're up.
Wow. I mean, I guess this is going to be a tribute to Mom Day because, because you guys are right. I mean, it's like my mom, whenever someone asks me anything about, who do I admire, or she always comes out first. I mean, because as a child, my mom was the person, that I looked up to. And unfortunately, she's not with me anymore. She transitioned in 2007. And I tell you what, when she did, my world almost crumbled. It took me a while to come back, to pull myself out of it. And even when I thought I was out of it, I still wasn't, but when I was growing up, my mom, let me just tell you about her first. She was a person that as she grew up, she didn't have it easy. She grew up at a time when, there were the restrictions and you can't go here, you can't go there. And even growing up, it was 10 of them, 5 girls and 5 boys. And so my grandparents, to make ends meet, they pulled, some of the children out of school so that they could go and work and do different things to help bring money into the family. At the time, my mom was one of the children that the daughter that he pulled up, my grandfather pulled out of school. So she had to help out. But my mother didn't let that stop her, because she was determined to get out of that cycle. And she, went back to school to get her degree and everything. And it was just, but the thing about it, as I was growing up, my mother, sort of like your mother, Jacqueline, she did not ever give up, and she wouldn't let us give up. It's two of us, my sister and I. But I remember, I was a child. I loved to read and I loved to write. And so I would be sitting at the table, and I'm writing, and I'm all down on the thing, and I'm writing with my head. And she come, "What are you doing?" I said, well, then you need to sit up. You don't write like that with your head all the way down. And I think this is why I have that attitude about women sitting in the back and all of this kind of stuff. I mean, this is why I get so upset when women enter the room and they want to go in the back and, like they say, to the side and not go up to the front. My mother was always the type of person that said, when you enter a room, you go up to the front of that room, because you want to sit where you can hear. You want to sit where you can learn. You want to sit where you can speak up, And so she always pushed us to be the very best. And I know in some of the things she used to tell me all the time, I want you to work in an air-conditioned office. That's what she said. And I recall when my first year, when I went off to college, and when you away from home and you just give buck wow, you think you could just do what you want to do. So I had a scholarship to Tulane, and that first year, believe it or not, I did so much that I wasn't supposed to do till I lost the scholarship. I went home, and first of all, I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna go home, and mom's gonna fix everything. It's gonna be okay. When I went home and I told her that I had, lost my scholarship, she looked at me and, voice stayed level. She didn't yell. She didn't fuss or anything. She says, I tell you what, you have 6 months to figure out how you're going to finish college. She said, because you are going and you are going to finish. Yeah. She said, you just need to figure out how you're going to do it. So little old me, I'm thinking, oh, I thought she was going to, pick up the slack. Nope. And so that's when I decided, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Because, when she gets that voice, she's, one of those.
Yeah, that's the dangerous voice.
From across the room at you, she gave you that look, whatever you were doing, that meant you need to stop. That's the voice that she had. And so that's how I managed to get into the military, because a girlfriend of mine had gone in right out of high school, and she used to write me and talk about how it was so great. She was assigned. She had been assigned to Spain. She was in Spain. And I'm thinking, oh, wow, I could just go in the army and I can join her and we could be in Spain and I can travel the world and they can pay for my education. I tell you what, I went into the military. The closest I got to Spain was when the plane landed we were going to Germany, and the plane landed in Spain to refuel. And we didn't even get off the plane. That was the closest I got to Spain. But it was because of her and the way her strength and everything that I know that she went through growing up. But that when we were coming through, she did not take that out on us. In other words, she wanted to make sure that we had it better than she had, And so the things that she didn't get to do, she wanted to make sure that we did do. And when she, like I said, when she talked about sit up and, stand straight, and another thing that used to really irritate me a lot. And if you notice now, I always, everything that I put my name on, I always use my entire name, Madeline A. and Lewis, because growing up, she used to say, whenever she would introduce me, oh, this is Madeline Ann, this is Madeline Ann. I used to say, will you stop using the Ann? I don't like that Ann. And so when I got ready to graduate from high school, and they ask you how you want your name on a diploma. So I just told them Madeline Lewis. And when I got home and we were talking about it, and my mother said, she says, well, I tell you what, when you bring that diploma here, it better have that Ann on it. I'm like, oh, I gotta go back and see if they'll add the Ann.
Yeah.
She would not. And the same thing, my sister's Brenda Ann. We're both, she liked the name. And so that always introduced us. And so that's why I always, because of her, as I grew, how when you're young, you don't understand, but as you get older, you hopefully you get a little more wisdom, and you just kind of take what they say to heart. But my mother, like I said, she didn't have some of the advantages that we have now, that we take for granted now. But you would never have known it. Like I said, when I was coming up, we didn't wear the name brand clothes or the name brand shoes, but we always had nice things. Whenever we stepped out the house, you looked like, someone really took care of you, that they really wanted you to look your best. And I was a little tomboy because I used to like to climb the trees. And when she looked for me, I want to be running around in pants and everything. But she always wanted to put the dresses with the big old slips under there and had to wear the gloves and all of this. And I'm like, oh no, when I think back on it now and I look at some of the pictures, I think to myself, oh my goodness. But I appreciate that now, because my mother, my strength comes from her. My confidence comes from her. And, even to the way I enunciate words, those are things that she corrected in me. That's not how you pronounce that. Speak up. When someone says something to you, open your mouth, So these are the things that I appreciate now, because I know she did it for my good, and because she wanted me to have the best and to see the best and to know the best. And so when you talk about a tribute to someone that I admire, like you say, my shero, she is always first. Everybody else that I might look at and that I might admire, they are always second to her. They're never, I'm sorry, but they will never be number one, and not in my book. My mom, because I know that she was the one, her prayers and everything brought me from one end of this world to the other when I was in the military and did all that traveling. And I know it was her that just kept me in that bubble of being under that favor, grace, and mercy. So my mom, she is the person that I will always look to, the person that has shaped me. When I sometimes I will look in the mirror, and I never, she always used to tell me I look like my father, but I look in the mirror now and I see her.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I see my mom, and I don't know if that's wishful thinking or what, but I see her when I look in the mirror. So she is my hero, will always be my shero, and that's why my tribute will be to my mom also.
Oh, beautiful, 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 beautiful. I can just relate to both of what you guys shared in regards to my mom. She used to always say, Marissa Lizette, like Marissa Lizette. It was always, and then you knew when she added your middle name, you were in trouble. Like, oh, he's had enough of you, and now you got to get it together. And so, and I used to traumatize my mom because I used to flip. Like I did, we had an instructor at the YMCA in Plainfield, and his name was Wayne Goodwin, and he learned street flipping. But he came in and he was teaching us how to do gymnastics. And blacks in our community, we didn't know gymnastics. Our surrounding towns, whites, they knew gymnastics. They had gymnastics teams. So he offered us an opportunity that we didn't have, and he showed us how to flip. Well, you can't teach me anything, and I not go and use it to the max. So I'm flipping down the street and I'm doing all this. I'm getting cuts on my hands, bleeding like crazy. My mom stayed calm. The reason I can stay calm through craziness is my mom's resilience was her calm in the middle of a storm. She was always very relaxed. And like Marissa, remember, if you listen to me often enough, you hear me when I say, when I was giving birth to my children, in the midst of my contractions, my mom told me, relax. She said, because if you relax, it lessens the intensity of the pain and you can bear it better. You are now in cooperation with what your body is saying it's going through. And so that has always resonated with me. And I'm always the one who, when someone says to me, speak about a woman or someone who's inspired you, it's always my mom. It is always my mom. And but today I'm going to do a tribute to Oprah. And not because she's a big who's who, but because she made waves. Back in 1986, she made history in being one of the top, highest rating talk shows that there ever was. And so in history, and so I say that because what are we doing right now? Having a talk show, right? What's the name of her network? OWN. We are Own It. And so I said, well, we're the inspiration for Own It did not come from Oprah. She was the furthest thing from my mind. But look at how God works and how he orchestrated that to be in parallel with someone of so much greatness. Now, Own It came from a place of knowing that we go through stuff. We go through stuff, and all of that junk and all of that mess is designed to make us cave in, quit, and miss and forfeit what God has called us to do. So it did not come from owning. It came from a revelation of saying, listen, we are always going to be battling something, but if we don't own who we are, someone will always be able to come in and try to trip us up off of our game. So you got to know who you are. You got to know who you are. Self-awareness. Then you got to develop who you are. You got to become better and better and better. So women, I'm saying to you today, become better and better and better. Adjust your character. If you got something in your heart that's wicked, deal with it. So that you can start loving your sisters and loving them from a healthy space and loving them to lift them up and to truly, authentically, and organically celebrate them. Yes. We're not enemies. We are actually partners in this thing. We are a gender of the same. We should not, a house divided can't conquer anything. But if you put us together, we can conquer the world and even beyond. And that's what I say. All month long, I'm coming from this place of love your sister like you love yourself. And if you ain't loving yourself, get some stuff right. Go get therapy, go get help. We are walking into a new season that says we have to love each other. We have to love each other, and we have to celebrate. And we have to celebrate ourselves. It starts from us celebrating ourselves. I think that what Oprah did was she began to say, let's expose all the darkness. Let's expose what's being hidden. But I'm coming to say, let's heal it so we can move forward. Now we have exposed it, Oprah, and thank you very much. But let's really, truly get healed. And that starts within ourselves. We've got to get that healing ourselves. Now, we have a brother in the background who's been waiting so patiently for us to come on, to bring him on. And so, but before we do, we want to do just a little introduction so that you'll know who he is. And so when he begins to start sharing with you how he can help you, especially you small business owners, anyone who has a website, you need to hear what this man is getting ready to share with you. But we're going to do a little promo for him to do some introduction. Here we go.
Attention business owners and high-level executives. Is your company's website ADA compliant? If you don't know, then it's likely that it isn't. Companies are being sued right now because their websites are not ADA compliant. Why? Because it's against the Americans with Disabilities Act compliance law. From small businesses, online marketers, realtors, e-com store owners, to doctor's offices, restaurants, nonprofits, medium and large corporations, nobody is safe. You may even know a company that's being sued right now because their website is non-compliant. You don't have to be a sitting duck any longer. Annexus Media Group has the best solution for you. Introducing Annexus ADA. Our new ADA compliance software allows us to offer you an entire suite of ADA compliance services that won't just put you in compliance, but also open your business up to the $650 billion disability market that you may not be serving right now. Our software will put you in position to meet the demands of several different areas of disabilities and inclusions based on need. Annexus ADA compliance software solutions will help get your content to people with limitations and make your quality content available in over 50 languages. Their experience with your website and company, now being compliant and inclusive, will be second to none. Annexus ADA compliance software addresses 32 points of disabilities. Annexus also provides award-winning customer support by an experienced team ready to serve your needs. Our software is also great for your SEO rankings. Google gives more relevance to sites that are ADA compliant. To get started, first, go to www.anexusada.com. Second, choose the right plan based on your company needs. Let us know who referred you on your form to get a discount. And third, submit your request. Lastly, a representative will contact you to process your request and email you detailed instructions for installation. Your personal representative will walk you through every step. We look forward to serving you.
Now, because TCS felt like this was so very important to get out to our small business owners and executives that we support, Own It has chosen, and TCS has chosen to partner with this organization. So we have now entered into a partnership. So without further ado, we're going to bring in Dr. T.L. Holmes. Come on now. There we go. Welcome.
Hello, ladies. How are you all doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic.
We want to say thank you so much for your patience. Yes. We went in deep about our mamas.
Yeah, listen, I got to tell my mama story now. So, I really appreciate the opportunity to share with you guys today.
Yeah. And so we want to find out more, how did you get to this point? How do we know? Because we didn't even know anything about being in compliance. I noticed that when I started doing some of my documents and I would get some notification to say, you have to do this, you have to be in compliance, is this the accessibility and things like that. But I didn't realize that this was something that was going to this extent where if your website isn't within compliance, that you could actually be sued.
Oh, no, listen, it is really crazy out here. I first want to say, happy Women's Month to you all, and to all of the women that are out there. And I appreciate, being on with you because what I want to do, one of the things that we are setting out to do is make sure that, small business owners, minority owners, corporate owners, corporate executives, not only know about what's going on, but they get the tools they need to maximize their businesses and most of all find a way to get leverage as a small business owner. And and I know that there are a lot of serial entrepreneurs out there. You don't know what you don't know, right? But with not being in compliance, what you don't know won't hold up in court. You can't use that as a defense. I didn't know that I needed to be in compliance. So one of the things that we are excited about is not only being in a position to share information on how you can get your website compliant, and even starting from the foundation when you're building your website, what information do you need to make sure that you're building it the correct way. We also have developed the solution. We've developed software that helps your website get compliant. Uh, we understand the tools. We understand what goes into it. And for your Women's Month show, I definitely want to make sure that any woman-owned business owner um, that's watching definitely get in contact with us, because we have some amazing bonuses. And even if you're not a woman-owned business, if you own a business, if you work at a corporation, if you are an executive at a corporation and your website is not compliant, if you don't know if it's not compliant, ask. Ask those that are in power. And if they're not, get in touch with me. I have two very, very special bonuses that if you get in touch with us through this platform, that you have access to. And so we'll talk about that a little bit more. But yes, we are excited to share this information. And what I want to do today is really give you guys some tools and some specific tips on what you can do to make sure that your website is compliant. The first thing you want to do is make sure that you contact or do some research. Do research, and you want to start with the United States Department of Justice under the ADA compliance laws, just so you can familiarize yourself what the law is and what the requirements is. And secondly, just bear with me a few minutes, because I want to go through some specific tips on what ADA compliance is. Number one, ADA compliance stands for Americans with Disability Act. And so it's a law that's been in place for years, but since the pandemic, the administration has put a lot of emphasis on companies that are not compliant. Why? Because we're forced to be inside, right? We're not at our jobs anymore. We're not at schools anymore. So more people are online. And so there are a lot of companies that fell privy to being sued. Even Beyonce's company got sued a few years ago because her website wasn't compliant. And someone was trying to return a ticket and they couldn't return it, easily. And they sued her. And they won. And these lawsuits are actually starting at $50,000 just for a general complaint, right? And once you have been sued, you can't reverse that lawsuit. You can't say, okay, hold on, let me go get compliant, I'll come back to the courthouse. That's not how it works. Secondly, once you get sued, you are also open up to more lawsuits, because the moment that you are sued, you become a target, right? Then anyone else, if somebody wanted to sue you every day until you get compliant, you will just fall privy to those lawsuits until you get compliant. And so I just want to go over a couple of points. And again, if you guys have questions that's on this call, on this interview, feel free to stop me at any point. I'm here for you. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to give you the information that you want and need. Number one, you want to make sure that you invest in your business. You want to make sure you invest in accessibility audits or identifying any existing issues that your website has. You do that by getting an audit. There are three different ways to approach your ADA compliance situation. Number one, you have a manual method where you will bring in an expert to do a full audit on your website. That's more intense, right? It's called an expert in residence, where they'll spend time with you and your company between 30 and 60 days, going through every single item on your website to see what's compliant and see what's not compliant. Secondly, you have an automated process, a solution, where you can employ a widget to your website that puts certain things into compliance on your website. Thirdly, you have a hybrid situation. And the hybrid situation is what we've decided to employ with our services, is where we do the manual assessment, we do the audit, as well as identifying, non-compliant issues with your website. And then we share that with you, share that with your team so that your team can do the things that's necessary to fix those elements on your website to bring them into compliance. And then we also employ a customized widget for your website that not only have 32 points of compliances, but we also have an inclusion component, which changes your website's language up to I think about 50 to 60 different languages, which is incredible at the click of a button. Yeah, so it's awesome. So that's what you want to do. You want to make sure that you invest in the accessibility audits and stuff of that nature. Secondly, you want to ensure that your site also not only meets ADA compliance, but the international ADA compliance, which is WCAG. You want to make sure that you are meeting those requirements as well, because you're on the World Wide Web, not the United States Wide Web, right? You're on the World Wide Web, and you can't control who goes to your site and who don't go to your site, right? So also you want to make sure that all content can be accessed with a keyboard as well as a virtual keyboard. Because again, everybody may not have access to, a keyboard. If someone is, impaired, and they, don't, that the disability is dysfunctions with their hands, right? You want to give them a different alternative. You want to also make sure that all images and videos have the appropriate alternative text or tags. So that when people click on a certain thing or hover over a certain thing on your website, that it explains what that item is, whether it's a video or whether it's an image. Another thing that I want to talk about is make sure that all form fields have labels and instructions. Now you may say, okay, well, this stuff is really minor. Well, no, it's not. I just recently, battled a situation where I was in the hospital for 2 months. Lord have mercy. And that was an ordeal for me. And so we can think that certain things are minor, but when you're dealing with people that have limitations that they can't control, it becomes a task. And, I like to tell people that, people with disabilities already have enough to deal with, already have enough challenges to deal with. So one of the things I want to just employ people, don't let your website be another challenge for them. Don't let your companies, don't let your services be another challenge for them to try to attain. One of the things that, as you guys were talking earlier about, the people that you look up to in your lives, and you start mentioning your mom, it was so important because, I wasn't raised with my mother. I've been in foster care since I was 5, right? And, but I was able to spend time with her since from my birth to 5 years old. And one of the things I remember is her cooking breakfast. One of my favorite breakfasts is scrambled eggs and rice scrambled together. Yes, I'm from Florida. I'm from the South. But I remember my mother going and it was me and my sister. My mother going into the cabinet and getting a can of vegetables and a bag of rice, and we had some of the best meals. Like it was like she was able to do anything, and I just thought my mother could do everything, right? And she would always talk to me and tell me there is nothing in this world that you can't do. I didn't know we were poor. We were pretty poor. But I would just watching my mom, just go and work a miracle in the kitchen, right? It just, and as I grew up and as I, went through certain things in life, things that she spoke into my heart and to my mind and to my spirit, you can do anything you put your mind to. Don't let anything hold you back. Don't let anybody hold you back. Those things resonate to me. And, and I understand, as a business owner, there are certain challenges that you have just having the fortitude to do business, right? Here in America, and also as a woman-owned business. And there are a lot of challenges that women face that men don't face. Let's just be real, right?
Yeah.
And so what you have to do is always, you have to position yourself to find as much leverage as you can. As a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, you want to make sure that you arm yourself with information, because what you don't know could take you out. And we talked about Beyonce business. I think that lawsuit was upwards towards $800,000. Now, that's $8 for her, right? But for someone that's not Beyonce, that could probably cripple your business, all based off of what you don't know. And so what I am, trying to be a champion of is, number one, give us the information. Give us the tools. I don't need you to hand me a handout. I don't need you to, try to give me, something for nothing all the time, but just give me the information I need to be successful. Give me the leverage. How can I position myself to be to excel in business? How can I position myself to excel as a person, right? So those are things that we are so super, super excited about, is that we not only have the information, but we have the solution.
Awesome.
And that's me digressing. Anyone have any questions? And I know that you guys are business owners yourselves and CEOs of companies. Do you have any questions first?
Well, we can also say once our co-hosts, because I've already had a lot of conversations because we partnered. So I'm going to let them talk. But I'm going to watch the thread, because there's many people listening in, and I'm pretty sure they're taking this in. $50,000 can take a small business out. Just out.
Yes.
Out.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so,
and I want questions. Anybody have a question? I definitely want them.
Yeah, we got questions from the co-hosts, because I know they have questions. And then I'm watching viewers on your comments to see if you guys have questions. So make sure, don't hold back. Just ask the questions, because ignorance, just like you said, is not bliss. The biggest thing that we do is we sit silently suffering, and we want to end that. We don't want silent suffering when answers are right here.
Yeah.
So LuLu, Dr. Lewis, you guys got questions?
The only question I had, I guess, just for clarification, you mentioned that your website has to be, I guess, accessible to people with disabilities. So you're saying that when they come, say, for example, if they come on my website, I have to have a certain tool implemented on there so that they can navigate it based on their disability. Is that what what you're saying? Because as far as I know,
there are two things. You want to have the tools that gives them, the compliance. And if you take time to go to our website, you can actually see that tool in action. That's annexusada.com. There's a widget at the bottom. It's a wheelchair widget. And it was so funny, because when me and Marissa was going over it, she was like, "Oh, hey, there you go." And when you click on it, there's a panel that comes up on the right-hand side, and that has over 30 different points of ADA compliances, or 30 points of items that anyone with disabilities. Now, we have two different versions, but the enhanced version gives compliances to individuals with ADHD, with epilepsy, and other major functions of disabilities, right? So one of the best features that I like, and I use it, a lot, is I highlight the information on the site and press a button and it reads it to me. So those are unique functions. Now, I will also say, in addition to employing those different softwares on your website, You also want to have a professionally developed accessibility statement created. Because again, that lets people know, that gives people a path to cure any issues that they may have with your website. So let's say that there's an illness that your website doesn't comply to. Well, your compliance statement should have a path to be able to contact you or connect with you to offer a cure for their issue. A lot of times people are sued. They're sued because they are not compliant, but number two, they're not even compliant pending, meaning they're not even making, any path to anyone with disabilities or offering any path to anyone with disabilities to seek a cure for what they're trying to pursue. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank
I
you.
have a question from one of our viewers, and the question is the topic strictly about our website being in compliance with those who have disabilities? But I know that your company offers other services, so you want to share a little bit more about that?
Yes. So some of the other services that we offer is based in digital marketing. And so what we've done over the last couple of years is not only talked about, offering different services, but we've created about 23 different software products to answer disability, not just disability issues, but digital marketing tools. We have a plethora of information, and one of the things I'm excited about the partnership that we have with Marissa and her publishing company is we are about to unload a massive amount of SEO marketing information. We're going to be contributing, articles that give people direct tools. We're not talking about talking in the sky and just, beating our chest. This is what we've done. No, we want to give you the ABCs to the XYZ. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3, do this. Step 4, do this. Because I think that if we arm you with the right information, you can get the right results, right? So some of the other things and I need you guys, listen, if you're not a subscriber yet, you need to subscribe today because we're coming with some thunder. You hear me what I say? Y'all hear that Florida coming out, right? But we're about to bring the goods, and I get so hyped about arming people with information, about giving people the tools that they need to succeed, because everybody don't want you fishing for them all the time. Right? They just need you to teach them how to hook the bait and how to put the line on the reel and how to teach them how to throw it out and pull it. You see what I'm saying? And so that's one of the things I'm excited about, because also you have a lot of companies that try to keep you tied to them.
Yes.
I'm going somewhere. I am. They try to keep you tied to them. They don't want to give you the tools. They just want to give you the service. Right? Yeah. But that's one of the things that I'm excited about, is being in a position to not only give you the service, but also give you the information. So, because again, if you use someone else, I don't care who you use, but use somebody, but also know that whatever they're telling you, whatever they're doing for you, you know what they're supposed to be doing. Right? So there are other services that we provide, such as digital marketing consultation, digital marketing services, SEO services, keywords, helping you understand how to find keywords. We also are in developing in the position, or in the process, of developing a virtual school to where we have created over about 700 tutorial courses that we are going to upload and provide these virtual schools and virtual programs that people can learn, how to use Word, how to use PowerPoint, how to use YouTube, how to use Facebook for business, how to use LinkedIn for business, how to use Twitter for business. And we want to teach you and give you the information that you can empower yourself and others that you may know with this information.
Awesome. Listen to that.
So listen, but y'all gotta stay tuned. Y'all gotta stay tuned to what we're doing over here. Y'all gotta stay tuned to this publication and make sure that you own it, right? And that you're able to get the knowledge and information. If you're not a subscriber yet, you need to subscribe today.
Yes. We want subscribers. We want subscribers. We always want to grow. The Own It family wants to grow and grow. And we also want to
Absolutely.
empower and equip them to own where they are. And that means full knowledge. Just like you say, you can't be
Yeah.
ignorant moving forward. If you're the CEO, you got to be in compliance. You got to know about the
Mhm.
policies, the legislation that's out there. There's so much more
Absolutely.
to being a business owner than just hustling, just
Right.
selling your
It
product and
is. It
making
is. It is.
transactions, because all you're doing is making transactions. You're not building a business. And so we want them to learn how to really
Absolutely.
build strong businesses that are sustainable and they
Mhm.
can expand. So there's room for growth. Because one thing that Own It learned is that you can grow, and if you're not prepared for the growth, it won't be
Mhm.
sustainable. And so we want to make sure that our viewers, those people who partner with Own It, we want to make sure that you have all the resources possible. And that's when I talked to TL, man, I was like, oh my God, because, as you stay with this, and the more that you get educated, the more that you open your
Mhm.
mouth and ask the questions, because we have viewers. But if you're not asking us questions, if you're not provoking us to give you information, it's just like the word of God says, you got to pull on the anointing. If you don't pull on the
Mhm.
anointing, you don't see the full manifestation of the gift. You get the full manifestation of the revelation that is flowing. We're
Mhm. Mhm.
offering you our gifting, like LuLu says, our genius. Tap
Yes.
into it,
Absolutely.
and we're
Yes.
not trying to nickel and dime you to death for everything. We want you empowered.
Absolutely.
We want you to level up. We want you expanding. We want you growing. We want you doing some great and amazing things. And so, in order for you to do that, you gotta ask the questions. And so, I want to say thank our viewer for saying, "Hey, is this restricted to just the disabilities compliance?" No, there's so much more that the organization offers you that you need to tap into. And so just make sure you get and stay connected. You can connect with me and get connected to TL, or you can connect with TL directly. Just make sure you mention Own It. Make sure you mention TCS. You started on the TCS show. And we are here every Thursday. We go live on LinkedIn for TCS. We go live on YouTube and we go live on Facebook. You can share our video everywhere. We love it. We love it. We love it. If you get a hold of the magazine, you can share it all you want. We want more visibility. The more visibility we get, the more people are watching, seeing, and knowing, and the more equipped they are to take center stage and own it for themselves. And so, ladies, I'm going to give you the floor. Do you have anything else you want to ask TL, or he's a part of the Own
So
It family. So he's contributing. He's a contributing writer to the Own It family. Own It has
Yeah.
partnered with a Nexus, and we are doing things great. And so you're going to see him more and more. Reach out to him and partner with him directly. You know how I work. Partner with him directly. Get connected with him, and make wonderful things happen. And so,
Absolutely.
does anyone have any closing thoughts?
so as I'm listening, Dr. Holmes, I don't have a question because, little disclosure here. I am a retired IT person, 40 in engineering, 40 plus years. So,
There you
but
go.
what
There
I
you go.
but what I would like to say in all of that time, what I'd love to say is that you have made your product for the small business. You have not forgot about the small business person. And I love that. So, yes, I've been to your website and I've looked, and I
Mhm.
just sat there and I was like, wow, someone that finally gets it. They understand that regardless of whether you're a small business, mid-sized business, corporation, we all need, there's standard compliances that we all need. And
Absolutely.
sometimes it's not affordable. There's not a product out there that
Mhm.
helps the smaller businesses. And so I love the fact that you have all these services. Kudos
Mhm.
and congratulations on your
Thank you.
software. It is phenomenal. I'm like, whoa, this is like, it was really something. And I will say this, I know we're in Women History Month. I like to say her story, but we just came out of Black History Month. And
Yes.
I am going to share out this our segment here because I want people to know that you deserve to be celebrated for Black history. You have made
Thank you.
Black
Thank you.
history and what you have done to make things affordable for small businesses, but also for Black businesses so that they can be in compliance. Because we know that, listen, we could sit here and talk about the disparities all day, so we're not going to go there. But you are helping to bridge the gap and to make things accessible to us so that some of those disparities are not as wide and broad. You're kind of closing it in a little bit. So I'm just so thrilled that you have created this and your services, and I'm so glad you're partnering with Own It, because that means that now
Absolutely.
I can get, and we all can work together and support one another and solicit one another's services. That's something that's kind of missing. That's another show. But soliciting one another's services and being respectful to not everything always be predatory. And that's a hard thing, but that's a pet peeve of mine.
No, that's real. That's real.
Yeah,
that's real.
As I'm coaching and even consulting with women, and I try to steer people away from the ideologies that we've literally been indoctrinated with, but they're not the right ones. So I love the fact that there's the partnership and there's the, okay, we're going to work together, because it really does, at the end of the day, benefit everyone. So Marissa, that is what, I mean, I just am so in awe that and happy that we have a Black business, we have Black technology, excellence in Black technology, and there are so many products that you have that every one of us, we may not need them all, but we probably need, some may need them all, some may need the majority, some may need half, some may need just a small amount, but you've got all of this support out there. So the viewers, I would encourage them, take it from someone that, again, was in IT and engineering for 40 plus years. I would say take it from someone that knows that they're looking at something when they see it. They know they're looking at the real deal, so go to your website and, the viewers, I see you have a consultation out there and you've got so much available, but I would encourage everyone that is viewing this video, please reach out to Dr. Holmes. This is not a commercial. And just so y'all know, I'm being totally transparent. Dr. Holmes, I did not know who you were. I sound like I know a lot now because I'm a researcher and I'm a reader. Somebody tells me something, I'm technology, I done Googled, I done been on your website. I saw the last webinar. I looked at the YouTubes, the news stations, ABC, NBC. I've watched the YouTubes. So I can say, I'm not just, blowing it up, and I don't want people to feel like, oh yeah, they're partners and with TCS. No, I have gone out and looked at the YouTubes. These are not paid commercials for him. You will see where all of the different media outlets have talked about his services and his software. And that's really the rub. When other people, you don't have to sell yourself, because other people are going to sell you because your genius is showing up. And when your genius shows up, other people will sell you. All you have to do is sit back, provide your services, and at the end of the day, collect your money.
Yes.
Let me say something right there, if it's okay, Miss Marissa.
Go right ahead.
One of the things that's so important, because you just hit it dead on the head. A lot of times you don't know the space that you occupy, right? We've been doing marketing forever, for a very long time. I'm still 21, but we've been doing marketing for a very long time. And so coming off of the 2 years that it's taken for us to develop the software and to launch it, we just launched it this year, but it's been such an amazing ride. We are in talks with some amazing institutions because, like you just said, you see it when you see it. You know it when you see it. And so some people, some organizations have just taken on to us. You know, we are consulting with hospital chains. Yeah, that part.
Make sure Emery's on there.
That are about to partner with our services, because you'll be surprised the organizations and companies and corporations that service disabled people for a living, right? That's what they're in business for. They are not compliant.
And they're not in compliance.
There are over 400 million websites in America right now. 95% of those websites are not compliant. And that's why the government is really zeroing in to, you know, make some examples out of some people. And so one of the things that we want to do and position ourselves is not just give the information, but be the answer. Right?
Right.
It's about, you know, not just having information I can give you, but I can also get it done for you. So I'm going to say this, and this is going to lead into what I want to talk about, is everyone that's watching this presentation right now, this show right now, if you go on the website that's scrolling at the bottom of your screen, www.annexusada.com/AnnexusADA, the / is where the golden goose is, because that's a specific page for your viewers.
Awesome.
You're going to, anyone that visit that site, I'm not talking about our regular website, the annexusada.com, but if you visit annexusada.com /AnnexusADA, that's a special link that, number one, it offers you 2 bonuses. Because you stayed to the end, you're gonna get this bonus. Number one, I am so present in the moment that I am availing myself to have ADA consultations with people for free for 30 minutes. Because again, it's about you getting what you need to get. So anyone that clicks on this particular link, bonus number 1 is you're able to set up a ADA consultation with me for free. Those consultations are normally paid for. But anyone that's watching this show and that is partnered with Own It, you are able to schedule a ADA compliance meeting for 30 minutes with me for free. That's bonus number 2. That's bonus number 1. Bonus number 2, you're able to find out if you are compliant or not. On that particular page, there's an area where you can put your website in or what have you to see if you're in compliance, but there also are different packages at the bottom. And if you are not compliant and you sign up for a particular plan, you get a percentage off by using the code that's on that page. So you thought I was going to give it to you. No, you got to go to that page to get the promo code. And so if you do that, you will receive, our team will contact you and they'll walk you through the process to get your website compliant. I'm so excited to partner with Own It magazine and publication and TLC. It's TCS publishing and consulting. I'm so excited to partner with you guys to give your audience and your readers some very, very important information that you need to make sure that you don't just own it, but you own it well, right? We want to give you the tools that you need to be exactly who you need to be and be successful. It's time for us to get our slice of the pie, if not the whole pie. I'm talking to some people. If not the whole pie, but listen, we are coming. We are so excited. I know that's right. We are excited because this is what people all across the world is taking advantage of, and they take advantage of the information that they have. We're offering that to you right now. So listen, I want to see you on the other side. I want you to contact us. I want you to schedule your meetings. And listen, we're here. We're here for the ride. I can't wait to do everything that we're going to be doing. I have so many things that's going through my mind right now. Conferences, summits, business growth opportunities. Yeah, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. And he's not sharing everything with you, but make sure you follow him. Follow Dr. Holmes. Make sure you're following everything that he's doing, because he has some major things that are going to be happening in the coming days, weeks, and months ahead. So make sure that you get connected. Yeah, I want you to use the link and go through for Own It to show that Own It is supporting and hearing. But I want you to do this for your business. I want you to level up for your business. Let me make that very clear to you. You need to do this, because guess what? You know how it is when you get into a car accident. You got the what is that? The ambulance chasers. Well, that's what's happening now. You don't know at random who's going to pick your site. And let me tell you something. Even though you're not maintaining your site, if your site is still live and it's up there, it's vulnerable. So I want you to think like that. Don't think that this can't happen to you. That's what is most important. I'm big on making sure that we cross our T's and dot our I's, and stop making it a hustle and make it a business. Really make it.
Absolutely.
Because in that is when you're making the money. You're not making the money hustling, because if you sit down and do the math, you're losing money. Trust me, you're losing money. And so with that being said, Dr. Lewis, didn't want to hold you short. Did you have any closing remarks or?
Only thing I want to say is just thank you, because you've given me information that I actually did not know. So appreciate you for that. And I totally agree with what Jacqueline said about celebrating you for making sure that you look out for the small businesses. Yes.
Thank you. And again, I am open for any conversations, any meetings, any interviews, because again, I think it's important that we get the information out, and we have the tools. Right. This is not a middleman talking to you. No, we own the front end. We own the back end. We have the tools in our hands to position you exactly where you need to be.
Awesome. So without further ado, we're going to say, see you later to the audience. We will be back here next Thursday. I don't normally do this, but now that we're getting in compliance, like, share, and follow. And subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us. We do have a lot of followers, but we want more followers. So follow us. Share this video. Share it. Let it get out there. Let it be known to our community that we need to get in compliance to protect ourselves. This again is insurance, to protect ourselves against any kind of lawsuits or any kind of anything that can go down with being outside of compliance. We want to make sure that we protect ourselves from that. One last view of. Okay, you are very welcome. That was someone saying thank you. You are very welcome. And we will be back. Dr. Holmes is not a stranger. He's a part of the TCS consulting team now. You'll be seeing him as he's available on Thursday mornings. You'll also see him outside of just this particular show. You'll see him outside of the Own It platform in other areas. And also you'll see his articles, all his promotional things, anything you want to follow, he will be in the Own It magazine. So as he said, subscribe. So if you want to subscribe, you want to go to tcsconsultantllc.com and subscribe. We love you and we are out. Have a blessed and an amazing rest of the day, and enjoy the rest of your week. We are getting ready to be up on Friday, so enjoy your weekend. We're out.
Bye-bye.